Unreporting for duty. As we left off last time in Hokuto no Ken for the Genesis, we were about to finish up with the first labyrinth, and so let's just go right ahead and do that. Here we have Buzz and Gil, the Harn brothers. They are experts in Nanto paired hawk style, used by two people. And they were imprisoned by the Empire in a concrete block because both Nanto Seiken and Hokuto Shinken were outlawed. And having rescued them, we get a health restoration, and we're ready to take on the first major boss. This is Soia, the purple light of Gento Koken. Gento Koken is a martial art used by protectors of the Empire. Or protectors of the Emperor, rather. The best way to take on Soia is to try and hit him with the very end of your jump kick, so that he gets knocked back and you don't get hit with his retaliatory punch. Because he'll always try to tag you for the punch every time he gets hit. But as long as you don't land your jump kick too deep, he'll get knocked back enough so you don't take the hit. But his punch does have a little bit of anti-air to it, so it can be a little tricky. Anyway, when he's hopping forward and his life's all used up, you can catch him with a punch and get the 100 crack fist. And Soia just does his little dying speech. And we get to move right along to the next chapter as soon as he explodes. I should explain a little about the Empire here. The Empire basically took a major turn for the worse when it was taken over by a dude named Jacko. Jacko is not the rightful emperor, he's just a governor general. By the way, when you get to the end of a chapter, Ken gets small again. Anyway, Jacko took over by kidnapping and hiding away the emperor. And so even people who don't like Jacko pretty much have to submit to his rule because he's holding the Emperor hostage. And the Masters of Gento Koken, the martial art I just described that is made up of protectors of the Emperor, they all work for Jacko now. So that's why we had to fight Soia. Right along, we should be coming up on a mini-boss soon. And this is Shino. Shino is one of Jacko's sons. Ouch. He's basically a head swap of Basque from the first chapter, but he doesn't have the Kazan prison clenching claws. Instead, he has these harpoons coming in from the left and right sides of the screen. Shino, incidentally, only existed in the comics. In the TV series, he was replaced by Bolts, the blue light of Gento Koken. And he explodes just like Basque, and we get a little health back. Anyway, Shino, like I said, one of Jacko's two sons, along with Jask, his other son. In the anime, they were replaced by Tiger and Bolts, the green and blue lights of Gento Koken. The anime versions were really more interesting because Jask and Shino were kind of generic, whereas Tiger and Bolts were much cooler character designs. And they fleshed out the whole Gento Koken thing a little further. There was also a red light general. Oh, and we're big again already. The red light guy does not appear in this game. His name was Shoki, and he was actually sympathetic to Ken and was killed by either Bolts or Shino, depending on which source medium, as a traitor to the Empire. So that kind of sucks. If you're friends with Ken, unless your name is Lin or Bat, you tend to die in the whole Hokuto universe. And we continue onward, blowing up Imperial thugs. Now this building I'm about to move on to here is the Imperial capital, and that will become a labyrinth soon. Right now it's just this red sky, no enemy place. That's whenever you encounter a labyrinth that you can't open yet. In order to get into that labyrinth, which we will have to do, we first have to fight Falco. And here he is. Falco is the gold light of Gento Koken, and he's basically a good guy. He hates Jacko and doesn't want to serve him, but he's extremely loyal to the true Emperor, and so he has to serve Jacko, since the Emperor is being held hostage and could be killed by Jacko if Falco doesn't agree to do Jacko's dirty work. Falco only has one leg, also. One of his legs is a prosthetic. It turns out he was a village leader back in the day, and Rao came to take over his village. And Falco, even though he's a total badass, really one of the strongest guys in the Hokuto universe, he wasn't confident that he would be able to beat Rao, so he basically said to Rao, "Hey, you know what? I'll give you a leg if you'll leave my village alone and just move on." And Rao said, "Okay." So that's how Falco lost his leg, and he is just really fucking me up here. This shouldn't be happening. Anyway, normally you can fight more or less like Soia, just watch out for his jumping fireballs. But he's countering me with his kick a lot, which is really kind of unusual. And also I'm having problems landing my own jump kicks. Damn it, anyway. Well, you got his health down, you land another 100 crack fist on him. And he spews some blood, and collapses streaming blood, but Ken ultimately does not kill him because Falco is not an asshole. And we get what I believe to be a defense boost here. Good thing to have. And now that we have conquered Falco, we can enter the Imperial capital and try and find the Emperor. As usual, I'm going to pop into the door here and restore a little health by killing off some Imperials. Very nice. And as is always the case, those guys in the doors are the only human opponents we will find in this labyrinth. The rest is just traps. And this time, I can't go in that door for whatever reason. This time we're going to kind of want to work our way down and to the left. And then once we get down and to the left, we'll work our way rightward across the bottom floor to the bottom right of the dungeon, and that'll be our exit, and I'm getting really screwed up. Fortunately, at the end of this labyrinth, we'll get a full health restoration, so ultimately we'll come out of this okay, even if I continue violently screwing the pooch. Such as going the wrong way and coming up on a dead end. Ah! See, most of them you can see in the ceiling before they fall, but not always. Bastards. I'm making fairly good time here, I think. Not entirely sure I'm going the right way, but this all feels vaguely familiar, so I think I should be okay. We've got all the throwing axes in the goddamned world coming at my head. That's never welcome. But again, it doesn't really matter how much damage I take here as long as I don't die, because I've got that full life bar coming up. The ducking punch, by the way, when you're powered up, it's pretty much the fastest recovery move you can do, so it's very handy in that respect. And it has a little bit of vertical stretch on the hitbox too, which makes it very handy indeed. Try and work our way through the fire jets here. And we're walking. We sure are walking. You know, you'd think a rock just kind of falling to the floor wouldn't be a very potent trap, but, you know, that's why I don't run an Empire. Whoa. Those bouncing rocks are really hard to deflect for some reason. They just have really wonky hit detection, so it's better to broad jump over them whenever you have the chance. And I believe this should be the bottom floor. And we just have to work our way over to the bottom right, and we'll find what's become of our Emperor. Not very impressive security here, just a bunch of boulders. Well, I actually managed to deflect a bouncing one. That's somewhat unusual. And we shall fade out as we faded in at the end of a labyrinth. Coming up next time on I Played a Thing, Hokuto no Ken for the Genesis, What Has Become of the Emperor? I'll see you then.